lot of Cub fans like to stop by one of the great Wrigley Field landmarks, the Harry Carey statue out on Addison, as they head on into the ballpark. It's a holiday weekend here on the north side. Happy 4th of July. It's the Hyundai leadoff man as we get set for the Cubs hosting the first place Cincinnati Reds here on WGN Sports. Hi again, everyone. I'm Len Casper. Welcome to the Hyundai leadoff man. We might see a lot of fireworks here on the 4th of July. The wind blowing straight out. Guys were hitting balls onto Waveland and Sheffield throughout batting practice. We'll see how it plays out. Let's take a look at the highlights yesterday. And a day it looked like we might see some offense, but in fact, the pitchers dominated. Randy Wells took a no-no into the 7th inning in his bid for his first win in over 2 months. He was excellent. 5 strikeouts, only 1 walk on the day. 6th inning now after the Cubs had left 12 men on base in the first 5 innings. They finally come through with a runner in scoring position. Soriano with the RBI single, and then Giovanni Soto with a 2-run double. That made it 3-0 Cubs after 6. The Reds would get a run in the 8th. They could have gotten a lot more. Carlos Marmol got the final out of the 8th. And then in the 9th inning, gave up a 1-out walk, but the strikeout early, the line out to end it. Cubs win. Randy Wells 4-6 on the season. Carlos Marmol with his 15th save. They got it done. As Lou said, 3 runs felt like 13 as they left 17 runners on base. We'll talk more a little bit later about the Cubs All-Star representative and the starting pitchers today. But as we go to break, let's look at today's Hyundai dealer of the game, Rogers Hyundai. On the south side of Chicago, see the cars the experts are raving about it. MyHyundaiChicago.com. And later tonight, the Summer Blast for 2010, 8:30 to 9:30 here on WGN. Paul Conrad, Eric Ferguson from WTMX, Lourdes Duarte, and Marcus Leshock will host live coverage of the city's new fireworks show from 3 different locations: Navy Pier, Montrose Beach, and 63rd Street Beach. Again, that's tonight right here on WGN at 8:30 Central Time. Let's check in on the Cubs minor league report. The Cubs have had a pretty good year, I think, at the minor league level, and a lot of those guys have come up to the major leagues. The Cubs minor league system, 25 games over 500 currently. At Double-A, big Tennessee win, a 5-run 9th inning. Marwin Gonzalez with a game-winning hit. Rafael Dolis pitched well, 6 innings, no runs. Greg Rohan at Single-A Peoria, 3 for 4 with a home run. Peoria unfortunately lost to Kane County. Time now for Bob's AutoZone tip of the day. It's the 4th of July, so Bob wants you to have a safe holiday. The tip of the day brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. Chicago Hyundai dealers. See the cars the experts are raving about at MyHyundaiChicago.com. Cubs wrapping up the first half at home today. They'll have a 7-game trip out to Arizona and Los Angeles. The Cubs coming in just 20-22 at Wrigley Field, and right now 11 games under 500. The Reds a game and a half up on St. Louis in the Central. Let's look at the starting pitchers today. Left-hander Ted Lilly has pitched well lately, getting the worst run support in the majors, just over 2 runs per 9 innings. This is his first outing against the Reds this season. Rookie right-hander Mike Leake, 5-0 over his first 12 starts, 0-1 with a 685 over his last 4. This is his Wrigley debut. We'll have the Cubs hosting the Reds coming up. Wrigleyville is adorned in red, white, and blue as we bring you an Independence Day edition of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. It's a scorcher today, the wind blowing out, and maybe it will lead to a big offensive day for a team that certainly needs it. The Cubs try to earn a split in this series against the Reds. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America. America's home for baseball. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. We found out about an hour and a half ago that Marlon Byrd has made the All-Star team for the first time.
You know, Len, unfortunately, every year at this time there are deserving players who don't get included in the Midsummer Classic, but it's good to see a guy who deserves to go get the opportunity to go showcase his skills with the finest in the game. Marlon Byrd with a .310 average, and he's had to earn every bit of it. Only 13 base on balls in over 300 at-bats this year.
All-Star game a week from Tuesday in Anaheim. Down to the field and all the pregame 4th of July festivities.
Home plate as the color guard from the 2nd Battalion, 24th Marines will present the colors of the United States here on our Independence Day 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cubs would like to welcome a very special guest to Wrigley Field. Corporal Anthony Greenwood was born and raised in Chicago and was stationed in Okinawa for the last 2.5 years. Anthony has been in Afghanistan for the last 8 months and is currently home on leave. He's enjoying time at home with his family before leaving on his final tour of duty this month. The Chicago Cubs would like to take this moment to thank Corporal Anthony Greenwood and every serviceman and woman for their courage and sacrifice in defending this great country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and join Wayne and Kathleen Messmer as they honor the United States on this 4th of July by performing God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, land of the free,
With me tonight, I'm the designated driver. Budweiser, responsibility matters. By Pepsi, every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com. And by Illinois Lottery's newest game, Powerball Wednesday and Saturday jackpots start at $20 million. Once again, happy 4th of July. The Cubs have been good on this date. 116 wins, 94 losses, 3 ties in their history on the 4th. Billy Williams with 6 home runs on the 4th of July, the Cubs' all-time leader, in case you were wondering. Now the Cincinnati Reds starting lineup, they got just one yesterday off Randy Wells and company. Brandon Phillips, an all-star. This season they have 3 representatives. Talk about that as we move along. Cabrera, Votto not in there, might get voted in as the extra man. Gomes in left, Hernandez catching. It's Jay Bruce in right. Former Cub Miguel Cairo in there for Scott Rowland, who's also an all-star. Drew Stubbs in center, and look at Mike Leake hitting .379.
Let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today behind Ted Lilly. Brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Soriano in left, Colvin in right, and the Cubs' lone all-star representative, very deservedly so, Marlon Byrd, patrolling center field once again today. On the infield, we have Fontenot and Castro on the left side, Terrio and Lee on the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the plate for left-hander Ted Lilly. He has gotten progressively better as the season has gone on, at least based on his ERA. 4.91 in April, 3.21 in May, 2.57 in June. And we know Ted Lilly is a fly ball pitcher, and with the conditions here today, it would really be to his benefit to hit his spots, keep the ball down, change speeds, try to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat today.
Angel Campos, a California native, will call the balls and strikes. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, at first. And Mark Carlson at second. Larry Vanover at third. They've all gotten a chance now to work the plate in this 4-gamer. So we're set. It'll be Lilly against the all-star Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips replacing the injured Chase Utley on the NL All-Star team. The big surprise in the ballpark today is that Joey Votto didn't make the team. He is up for the 34th spot. They have that MLB.com vote, and he is on that list, along with Heath Bell, Carlos Gonzalez, Billy Wagner, and Ryan Zimmerman. But the NL will have a DH. In the American League Park, I think Joey Votto would fit nicely into that DH spot. But we'll see. We're underway. Phillips takes ball 1 from Ted Lilly, facing the Reds for the first time this season. Phillips just 3 for 25 against Ted. One of the hits a home run. Lilly 2-6 lifetime versus Cincinnati. That's hit foul, 1-1.
And this is the time of year, Len, since the All-Star team is in the process of being picked, that you will see articles all around the country about guys who have been slighted. Certainly Joey Votto. You know, it might be easy for us, Len, because we see Votto when he plays against the Cubs, and he kills the Cubs. But looking at his numbers and talking to people from the Reds, he's done that against everybody all season long. So I'm sure the Cincinnati local media will start banging the drum that Joey Votto got hosed.
And you know, now that I talk about the DH, did they not tweak the rule? And I think the DH might be involved no matter where they play it from here on out, because nobody wants to see a pitcher hit in the All-Star game, so it really wouldn't matter where they're playing it. Phillips with a line shot to Tyler Colvin out in right center. Now the Chrysler game forecast 87 and rising, a lot hotter in the sun, low humidity, and the wind blowing straight out to center at 8. And it's brought to you by Chrysler. For more info on our vehicle lineup, log on to Chrysler.com or stop by your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Chrysler dealer today. By the way, it's actually cool here in comparison to our next stop, which will be Phoenix. 20 degrees cooler than it is in Arizona today. But they have a roof there.
It'll be 72 or 73 degrees at game time tomorrow afternoon.
You can get in touch with us via email at LennonBob@Tribune.com and follow us at Twitter.com/LennonBob as well. Lilly's 0-1 to Orlando Cabrera. Golfed high in the air to left. Soriano drifting. That ball was barely touched by Cabrera, and he hit it all the way to the edge of the warning track. I think this is the kind of day that can really mess up a guy's swing if you think about the conditions.
Well, especially if you watch batting practice earlier today, both teams were putting on quite a fireworks display before the sun even went down here on the 4th of July. I mean, they were hitting balls out there across Waveland Avenue, short hopping the buildings across the streets. Joey Votto and Jay Bruce, some of the left-handed hitters, were launching them across Sheffield Avenue. I have never seen the ball fly quite like it did earlier today in batting practice.
Derek Lee hit one off the Toyota sign behind the bleachers in left center. Let's just hope Joey Votto isn't too upset about the All-Star snub and decides to take it out on the Cubs. As Lilly knocks him down, Joey Votto has had a lot of success against the Cubs. He's going to have to dust himself off after this high and inside pitch.
It's something we haven't seen a lot of from the Cubs pitching staff this year. Not that they've needed to push hitters off the plate. They've thrown the ball extremely well for the most part. But when you have an aggressive swinging offense like this Reds team, I think that's a purpose pitch that will serve its purpose as this game goes on.
With 2-1 on the way, that's also inside. "15 career homers for Votto, including one earlier this series." Big swing at the 3-1. Now it's full 3-2. Votto has reached base safely in 41 straight. Strike three. Joey Votto not happy with that Angel Campos call. Taking his frustration out on the home plate umpire, and he just got kicked out. How about that? Joey Votto gone. Slammed his helmet down. That's a big break for the Cubs. So Dusty will take up his cause. You be the judge. Pretty good pitch. Colvin in right. Soriano in left. Fontenot in there for Ramos Ramirez, bothered by that sore left thumb. And the battery today made up of Soto catching and Lilly pitching.
Quick look at the Reds defensively. Gomes, Stubbs, and Bruce across the outfield. Paul Janish will take over at third base where Miguel Cairo initially was. Cairo will move across the diamond to take over for the ejected Joey Votto. Cabrera at short. Phillips at second. Ramon Hernandez doing the catching for rookie right-hander Mike Leake.
Skipped the minor leagues. Made his major league debut against the Cubs in Cincinnati. Some similarities to Bronson Arroyo. You mentioned he got off to a fantastic start. 5 wins, no losses in his first 12 outings. But his last 4 times out, 0-1 with a 6.85. And the 3-0 to Terrio, that caught the outside corner. Leak pitching here at Wrigley for the first time. Well, the Votto ejection at least makes you wonder if something was sticking in his craw before this game. Might have been the biggest all-star snub in the game. When you think about how great he's been, and he snapped on Angel Campos. So Leak comes back. Janish throws to Cairo. Terrio retired.
I have to believe Joey Votto thought the strike 3 pitch from Ted Lilly was down. You see Giovanni Soto moves out onto the outside corner. As always, remember, it's not where the catcher catches the ball, it's where it crosses the front of home plate. It looked like it was knee-high as it crossed the front of the plate, and you just can't do that. Number one, you can't argue balls and strikes. Number two, you can't be throwing equipment as you're arguing with the umpire, so Joey Votto will take the rest of the afternoon off.
And Scott Rowland not in their lineup. So arguably their two most potent offensive forces not in there. We might see Rowland later.
And with that in mind, Len, I think maybe you'll see Dusty Baker, if he gets the right guys on base, be a little more aggressive on the base paths today than the Reds have been in the first 3 games of this series. They've got some good speed at the top and bottom of their order, guys that are capable of stealing a base, and with 2 of their thumpers out of the lineup today, Dusty might be a little more aggressive on the base paths.
Two and one on Starlin Castro. So Leake made his debut against the Cubs. Castro made his debut against the Reds. And both were very good. Castro's was record setting with the 6 RBIs. It was on May 7th. And Cabrera looks it in and gets Castro by a step.
His 12 starts, he was perfect. 5-0 ERA, just over 2. Opponents were hitting zip against him, 244. But the real important thing is that last line. Leads all National League rookies with 95 1/3 innings pitched. Because of that, the Reds have pushed him back a couple of times to give him extra days between starts, and a lot of people think that has hampered his effectiveness on the mound. Very much a command pitcher. A little tailing fastball, a slider, cutter, changeup. And they say he hasn't been nearly as sharp his last 4 starts as he was for the first 12.
Well, every bullet counts, especially for a young pitcher like Leake. With a contender, he's only 22 years old. He is averaging 15.5 pitches per inning. The league average is 16.5, so he's been pretty good in that department. He strikes out Lee, and the Cubs go down quietly in the first. No score as we get into the second. No base runners to this point. Johnny Gomes won the home run title in batting practice.
Yes, he did.
He's had a big series, 4 hits, 3 RBIs for Gomes.
And Gomes is another guy that would have had an outside chance to make the All-Star team, hitting .289 going into play today. 9 homers, 54 runs driven in, and he's another guy that's really feasted on the Cubs this year.
Fouled away, 1-1. This is the kind of day that will not mess up the swing of Johnny Gomes, because he looks like he's trying to hit a home run on every swing.
Regardless of ballpark or conditions.
Lifted down toward the right field corner, but the wind again pushing that ball back in fair play, and Colvin makes a catch for the out. Today's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids. Buy a steal from Niles, Michigan. Mike Oljace from Dyer, Indiana. For more info on how you can be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Catcher Ramon Hernandez. He's hitting 5th. Gomes moving up into the cleanup spot with Rowland out. So usually it's Votto and Rowland 3-4 today. After Votto got tossed, it's Janish and Gomes. The irony of a day like this, instead of swinging harder, you probably don't have to swing as hard as you normally would. Good contact, use the pitcher's velocity, and you can really launch a few.
Quick hands is the key. Anytime you have conditions like this at Wrigley Field, the wind blowing out, the harder you try to swing, the more susceptible you become to Ted Lilly's pitches. If he can keep them off the barrel of the bat, that long swing, he should be able to get in on the hands of some of the Reds hitters.
Right back to Ted. First ground ball out he's gotten.
Hey fans, on Wednesday, minor league excitement returns to Wrigley Field with the 3rd annual Road to Wrigley presented by PNC Bank. Don't miss the action as the Peoria Chiefs battle the Kane County Cougars here at Wrigley Field. Kids 14 and under can come early for the chance to watch batting practice on the field and meet some future stars. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com.
1-0 on Jay Bruce. 23 years old. He has 53 career homers already, 10 this season. Hitting at a .340 clip over his last 13 games. Reds lead the league in runs. Pop up. Soto just does not have a play. About 2 rows back behind the backstop. Derek Lee near the bag. That's it for the Reds in the second. 6 up, 6 down for Lilly. Marlon Byrd, the All-Star, will lead off the Cubs second. Byrd found out probably just before batting practice that he had made the All-Star team, and he will lead off the Cubs second. Takes a strike on the outside corner. He got in via the player vote. And a leadoff single. First hit of the game. A problem for Bruce, and Byrd to second. Should be a single and an error.
As always, Marlon Byrd is in a position to take advantage of that error because he ran hard out of the batter's box. That at least gave him the option of advancing on to second. And when Bruce had trouble with that ball out there in right field, he's able to advance on to second base and immediately get himself into scoring position for Tyler Colvin.
Colvin playing right. Shows bunt, takes a strike. 2 hits, a steal, and a run, and a nice catch on the move and left in the 8th inning. After he had moved over to left, Lou made a double switch. And as Colvin went from right to left, pretty significant play. And a deep drive for Tyler Colvin. It will go! 2-run homer. His 11th of the year, and it's 2-zip Cubs.
I was kind of surprised to see Tyler Colvin showing bunt on the first pitch. He's so adept at rolling over and hooking that ball to right field. Well, he not only advanced Marlon Byrd, he got him on the plate with this blast deep into the bleachers in right field.
A strike to Soriano. It's kind of hard to believe we didn't see a home run yesterday with the wind blowing out. Oh, 2. And the Cubs left fielder.
I got a little buzz going here at the ballpark. That was a no-doubter. Made that good sound off the bat.
Swing and a miss for the first out. Time now to look at our PNC Cubs Achiever. We honor America's independence here on the 4th of July. PNC Bank, proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs. Just as proud to support the fans and community who cheer them on. PNC for the achiever in us all. Want to know to Mike Fontano, Aramis Ramirez missing his second straight game. And some more soreness near the left thumb. Two balls, no strikes. The pitch on the ground to Cairo. Cub fans, make sure you check out our WGN baseball blog on WGNTV.com. I have a post on the 4th of July matchup. And yesterday, the Cubs leaving a record 17 men on base in a 9-inning game. Check out Chicago Baseball Stories for great memories of July of '67. When Ronnie and the Cubs went into first. Soto lines. Gomes is playing very deep and left. And that'll be a long single for Soto.
Started to put together a string of pretty good at-bats recently. This one a line single into left field. Johnny Gomes playing about 2 steps in front of the warning track out there in left field. He'll probably come in a little bit for Ted Lilly.
Jay Bruce is not. That's as deep as you'll see a right fielder play against Ted Lilly.
See what Teddy's featuring in that batter's box today. His last start, his first at bat, he had an extremely closed stance. Now he's opened up. Back foot close to that inside line of the batter's box. He's constantly searching for something that feels comfortable and will get him some results.
It is the batting stance du jour.
Yeah.
For Ted Lilly. Pop up behind third and no play. Dan's foul. Janish couldn't get there. Neither could Gomes.
Well, just lofted out there into shallow left field. It looked like it might be close to the foul line, but this wasn't high enough in the air for Gomes or Janish, either one, to get there to make the play.
Coleman with a long 2-run homer into the bleachers in right center, making it 2-0. Cairo will pick it up, take it unassisted. Cubs lead this one early, 2-zip after 2.
Who's enjoying the game? Don't you love American women? Lenny Kravitz, Budweiser, it's what we do.
Miguel Cairo started the game at third, moved over to first. So he never did really play third. As Votto got thrown out at the end of the top of the first inning. There's Tyler Colvin, 2-run homer to get this crowd excited.
Cairo didn't get any plays at third, but his replacement at third base, Paul Janish, probably sitting on the bench with a pocket full of sunflower seeds and his sunglasses on, getting ready to watch a 4th of July ball game. All of a sudden, he's in the game at third base, and the first ball of the game is hit right to him.
Inside, a couple of different stints as a Cub for Cairo in 97, 16 games, and then in 2001, 66 games. It is not raining. That's to protect again against the harmful rays of the sun. Castro with a nice pick on the short hop. The throw in time.
A nice pick of a hard hit ball by Starlin Castro at shortstop. Went about a half a step to his right. Took a little bit more time than necessary right there before delivering on to Derek Lee. Cairo made that a close play down there at first base. Boy, tough pick for Derek. It looked like that ball hit right at the edge of the infield dirt and the grass. Kind of a funny hop, but as he usually does, Derek Lee stayed with it to complete the out.
The 1-0 on the way to Drew Stubbs. Towering blast. How far will this one go? On the wavelength. Well, Drew Stubbs was not in their lineup yesterday. His manager said he was hitting too defensively, lots of strikeouts, and he was very aggressive on that swing. It's 2-1.
Well, Stubbs hasn't hit for much of an average this year, but he has hit for some power. That's his 9th home run of the season. Cub fans will remember the grand slam he hit back at Great American Ballpark earlier this year. No doubt about this one.
Park looks very small today.
Yeah, it sure does.
Now Mike Leake trailing only Dan Herron among National League pitchers in batting. He's at 379. Dan Herron hitting 422. 2 strikes on Leake. Had 2 hits in his major league debut against the Cubs in Cincinnati on April 11th.
Well, and I mentioned the Reds are trying to ease some of the strain on the young right-hander by giving him a few extra days between starts from time to time. The most innings he's thrown in the season at Arizona State, 142.
Bird will take it. Don't miss the action as the Cubs host the Phillies. First game of the second half, Thursday, July 15th at 7:05. But be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs luggage tag, compliments of United. You could use one of those. All the travel we do.
And just to complete that thought about Mike Leake, 142 innings, the most he's thrown in any one season at Arizona State University. The Reds have a definite number of innings in mind for Mike Leake. We're guessing around 175 or 180, but as we were talking yesterday, if you find yourself in a pennant race in September, you may have to be a little more flexible with the numbers.
Phillips looks at ball 1. I won't take credit for it, but we were just chewing the fat, talking some ball yesterday. They've got this left-hander, Aroldis Chapman, who's now working in relief, and I'm sure the Reds have at least considered the idea of maybe what they call piggybacking those 2 young pitchers at some point. So you start the game with the Leak and you have Chapman come in maybe in the 4th or 5th to cut down on his innings. That's an intriguing idea. This is a big day today for the Reds, Bob, because Edinson Volquez is making another rehab start tonight at AAA, and it might be his final tune-up before he returns to their rotation. He'll pitch with AAA Louisville. And they're at Indianapolis. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery in August.
And a lot of talk about whether the Reds will add anything at the trade deadline. But when you get back atop of the rotation pitcher off the disabled list, providing Volquez is able to throw the ball the way he did before the injury, that's the equivalent of trading for a frontline starter.
Stubbs with a long homer makes it 2-1 Cubs midway in the third. Cubs have been better on the weekends. I guess that bodes well for today. 14 under during the week. What was the Loverboy song? Everybody's working for the weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
For all your home improvement needs, shop and save big money at Menards. 2-0 to Ryan Theriot as Mike Leake faces this lineup for the second time. Out in the right center. Theriot will make a big turn, and he's going to try for two. The throw there, late. That is a hustle double for Ryan Theriot. I don't think the fans wanted him to go. There was a little bit of a uh-oh when he rounded first, but he was there plenty of time.
Yeah, this is when your manager in a dugout takes a look at Theriot running down that first base line, sees him turn the corner and goes, no, no, no. And then he slides safely into second. You say, way to go, way to go, way to go. Boy, that's big with the leadoff double. You don't have to waste a sacrifice bunt now to get him into scoring position. Hopefully Starlin Castro can move him to third.
Theriot.
Oh, man.
A little too aggressive.
We've seen that all too often from Ryan Theriot. He's got to have better judgment on the bases than that. He's already in scoring position. A routine ground ball hit right to the shortstop. He had nowhere to go on that play. I mean, the rule of thumb is a ball hit to your left, you can advance. A ball hit to your right, you have to hold your ground. And he may have gotten in under the tag at third, but he's called out for a poor base running play. Looked like the Janish tag was up high on the body, if at all. Theriot may have gotten his foot in underneath, but the ball beat him to the bag. Man. That can't happen.
Well, too bad that it followed such a heads-up base running maneuver to get the double in the first place. As Leake pitches to Derek Lee. 2 balls, no strikes. Lee took a called third his first time up. Mike Leake, 6'1", 190 pounds, went to Arizona State. Doesn't turn 23 until November 12th. Diving stop, Janish from his knees. They get the out, forcing Castro at second. Barely got him. Really close plays, both going as outs in this inning. Lou out to chat with Mark Carlson.
Well, we got the head bob going early here. Usually it takes a little while to wind up and get angry enough to start bobbing that head up and down, but he was immediately getting in Mark Carlson's face when he got out there. Play by Janish just to get to that ground ball and knock it down. He throws from his knees, and man.
So Lee takes over at first. Arlen Bird the batter. the outside corner, ball one.
Well, I guess that's the human element of baseball that so many purists are enamored with.
Straightaway center. Stubbs got all turned around, but he'll make the catch on the back pedal as he just got to the warning track. Promising start to the inning. No runs. 2-1 Cubs. Home runs. 2-run shot by Colvin. And a solo blast from Stubbs. Cabrera, Janish, and Gomes. Joey Votto got kicked out after the top of the first. He took a called third strike to end that inning. And then got into an argument, slammed his helmet down. And Angel Campos, the home plate umpire, kicked him out. So he was rejected by the All-Star voters and ejected by today's home plate umpire. Not a good day for Joey Votto.
No, and dejected because he doesn't get 3 more at bats with the wind blowing out of Wrigley Field.
The 1-2 to Cabrera, low and outside. Fourteenth start for Ted Lilly. Of his first 13, 10 have been quality outings. Cubs are getting great pitching on this homestand. They've gone just 2-4, but their ERA 1.80. (3-2) on the Red shortstop. Here it is. Votto can't snag it.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN TV is sponsored in part by the Illinois Lottery Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $34 million.
Janish came in to play third, moving Cairo to first when Votto got tossed. Janish started yesterday, went 0 for 1 with a walk. He was playing short.
And this is one of those combinations, Len, where you could possibly see Reds manager Dusty Baker push some buttons. Paul Janish handles the bat real well. Very capable of hitting that ball to the right side of the infield. Cabrera with slightly better than average speed on over there at first base. And with that in mind, Ted Lilly's going to just toss one over to Derek Lee, make sure he's not taken off on first movement.
Long pause by Lilly, and time called at the plate. Good bunt. Votto better hurry. Throw to first. Safe. An infield bunt single for Paul Janish. 2 on, no outs.
Apparently Fondo and the Cubs not thinking Janish was going to put down a sacrifice bunt. Mike was playing a good 5 or 6 steps behind the baseline down there at third. And another close play. Just did beat the throw across the diamond. And once again, notice Janish coming down on the very front part of the bag down there at first base.
So some trouble for Ted Lilly. Leading 2-1, but the Reds threatening. Gomes takes it up, ball 1. One note on Joey Votto, his on-base streak will end at 41 games with that strikeout and the ejection. It had been the longest Reds on-base streak since Pete Rose reached in 48 straight games in 1978. That included the 44-game hit streak. It high in the air. Castro is going to need a little help here. And it's Soriano to make the catch. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. A big first out for Ted Lilly. Runner still at first and second. Here's Hernandez. Out in the right center. Going to tie it up. And maybe more. Cabrera in. Janish will score. Hernandez pumping hard as he gets into third. It's now 3-2 Cincinnati. It's a two-run triple for Ramon Hernandez, his first triple of the year.
Ball shot into the gap in right center field. Looked like Colvin took kind of a shallow line to that ball, and it got by him all the way to the door out there in right center. Bird with a little trouble picking it up, but Hernandez had already made up his mind at that point he was going to try to stretch it into a triple. And goes in on his belly, giving the Reds a 3-2 lead.
Eighth career triple for Hernandez, and his first this season. Fastball at 86 to make it 1-1 to Bruce.
Well, for Ramon Hernandez, obviously it's a rarity for a catcher to hit a triple, but on a day like this, he may not catch his breath until they get to New York later tonight after this ball game. Stretching that left leg out and might be having some cramping issues.
Swing and a miss. That's a big one for Lilly. For the second out.
Well, we talk all the time about guys that have a feel for pitching. Ted Lilly really just took a lot off that slider, rolled it up there on the inside part of the plate, got Jay Bruce way out in front. And you watch how a pitcher reacts to other pitches earlier in the sequence, and then you get to that 2-strike count, have something in your back pocket that he hasn't seen yet. In that case, an off-speed slider.
Swing and a miss by Cairo. Fontenot hugging the line at third. 0-2. Early lead for the Cardinals, 6-0 in the third against Milwaukee. St. Louis missed a chance to pick up ground on the Reds yesterday. All-star Adam Wainwright on the mound against a fellow All-Star, Giovanni Gallardo, who went just 2 2/3. Castro moving to his left. Inning over. Ramon Hernandez with a go-ahead 2-run triple. It's 3-2 Cincinnati.
Home run of the season, trailing only Alfonso Soriano, who has 13. Only BMW offers ultimate service. Buy a BMW now and pay zero maintenance costs for 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Called strike on Colvin. Mike Leake working with a lead for the first time. 3-2 Reds. Bounced foul. Bob, we want to send out happy belated 100th birthday wishes to Sidney Hess, who turned 100 on June 26th and was scheduled to throw out the first pitch for the game today. Unfortunately could not join us, but we want to send Sidney the best after his 100th birthday as Colvin strikes out. When he was born, Mordecai Brown and Jimmy Archer, pitcher and a catcher who were friends of Sidney's father, were there at the hospital when he was born.
How about that?
Third strikeout for Leake. Soriano pops it up. Caught by Janish.
The 2010 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Two quick outs as Mike Fontenot will step in. Also want to honor Sharon Mason of Newark, Illinois, selected as the Chicago Cubs Everyday All-Star. She will represent the Cubs in Anaheim, one of 30 Everyday All-Stars, one representing each team. She founded Equine Dreams, a nonprofit organization providing therapeutic horseback riding free of charge to children and adults with disabilities. So congrats to Sharon Mason. Good look from behind home plate as Fontenot hits it up the middle. Diving stop. Brandon Phillips from his knees just couldn't get enough on the throw. It's an infield hit for Fontenot. What an effort by Phillips.
Now we know Brandon Phillips can cover as much ground as any second baseman in the National League. He got to it in good shape, but as you said, just couldn't get much on the throw. Mike Fontenot hustling down that line, able to beat it out for an infield hit.
I love how guys try to sell the call with that safe sign as they pass the bag. The Mets trying to avenge a very tough ninth inning loss yesterday, in which the Nationals got 3 to win 6-5. It's 8-0 Mets in DC in the bottom of the fifth. Ike Davis with his 10th home run for the Mets. Frankie Rodriguez called it the worst outing of his career. Steven Strasburg ended up with a no decision. Washington has not scored over the last 18 innings. Strasburg has been on the mound.
rough first inning yesterday. I believe he threw close to 50 pitches, 47 or 48 pitches just to get out of the first inning. Had to pull the plug on him early because of a high pitch count.
Another guy who's struggling, Ubaldo Jimenez, who is an all-star, gave up 7 runs and a no decision against San Francisco and has now allowed 17 earned runs over his last 3 starts. A month ago, Jimenez had an ERA of 0.93. It's now at a whopping 2.27. Three and one on Soto with Lilly on deck. We will not see Manny Ramirez next weekend, although I know you still have your annual lunch planned with him. He is on the disabled list with a right hamstring injury. Please tell him I said hello as Soto walks.
I mean, you're invited to come to lunch. You just have to wear the dreadlock wig. You know, it's kind of a prerequisite to hanging out with Manny. You got to have the dreads.
Strasburg did not make the all-star team. He did get consideration from Charlie Manuel, and he just didn't pitch enough. And there were other deserving guys. In fact, Carlos Silva did not make it. That's how good the NL's pitching staff will be. Carlos Marmol didn't make it. The 0-1 to Lilly is a strike. 40-year-old Arthur Rhodes did. Congrats to him. First all-star appearance at age 40 for the Reds left-hander. You saw him head out to the bullpen. You see he has the long undershirt. He also had his jacket on. Pitchers don't care how hot it is. They want it even hotter as Leake will run it halfway over, flips the rest of the way to Cairo, and we'll go to the 5th. 3-2 Cincinnati. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Drew Stubbs with a long home run in the 3rd inning to put the Reds on the board. And hits a hard ground ball right at Mike Fontenot. And we'll bring up Mike Leake. Bob, we got a nice note from a longtime sports radio host here in town, Mike Murphy, a big Cub fan, and I think you'd have to say a Cubs historian. You mentioned on a Friday when Brandon Phillips hit a home run into the front row in left, right in that well area as Leake pops it up. He said it was basically the shortest spot to hit a home run in the ballpark, and you were right on. Mike once did a study here at Wrigley Field, and because of all the different configurations and changes, the alleys in center field, it's a little bit deceiving. That's the shortest porch in the ballpark right there. And to straightaway left center, it's 356. Where Phillips hit it, it's 347. It's 376 to straightaway right center. Now you have the 368 signs, but they're slightly askew, as is 400, which is a little bit right of center. So the easiest place to hit a home run at Wrigley Field is exactly where Phillips hit it, as you stated. Nice going.
Oh, I was really, really good at geometry.
It's exactly 347 in both wells, where it juts out. And if you hit it to straightaway center, it's technically 395. And the signs are all correct. It is 368 where it says 368. But what you would call, I guess, straightaway left center, which would cut right between left and center, is just a little bit to the left of that 368. More toward the door. Deep to center. This is Marlon Byrd on the warning track. Makes the catch. About 390 feet from home plate. 3-2 Cincinnati.
TV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by the Great Escape, pools, patio, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Terry on the first pitch flies to center. 3-2 Cincinnati in the fifth. I'll send out congrats to Kim Swanson and Rob Grismala. I think that's how it's pronounced. They're getting married today. So the advice from Bob to Kim and Rob, as always, actually more for Rob than Kim.
Definitely more for Rob than Kim, but practice this phrase and use as necessary. Yes, dear, you're right. I'm sorry.
Bunted foul by Castro.
And believe me, you'll have plenty of opportunities to use that phrase.
It's kind of ironic they're getting married on Independence Day.
Well, they want to take advantage of the fireworks later tonight. You better drink them fast today, partner. Had a cup of water with ice in it an inning ago, and the ice is gone and the water's warm.
Deep to right center. Bruce back on a warning track. He's going to have to play it off the wall. Castro will pull up at second with a one-out double. It's his 9th double of the year. Got a good homestand at the plate.
They started to make better adjustments, Len. We've talked about how opposing teams have just tried to stay away from Starlin Castro. He steps in the bucket just a little bit, but he started to drive some of those pitches on the outer part of the plate to the opposite field, including this double to the gap in right center.
Walked 3 times yesterday. Showing good patience, even though one of those walks was intentional. Tying run now in scoring position. Ball 1 to Derek Lee. Derek trying to recapture his all-star form. He has been an all-star twice. One and two. Already a final. Oakland beat Cleveland 3-1. Game took just 2 hours 21 minutes. Vin Mazzaro over all-star Fausto Carmona. Indians will be without Shin-Soo Choo for a while as a sprained right thumb. He'll be out up to possibly 2 months. Leake will get the out at first with Castro holding at second. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Marlon Byrd will have to retrieve a few voicemails and texts off his cell phone after the game.
And that's part of the fun of being named to an all-star team, hearing from all your friends and relatives and fans. He'll have to change his phone number.
All-star Cliff Lee trying for his 4th consecutive complete game, and he has an 8-1 lead at Detroit in the bottom of the 8th. He's still in there, just over 100 pitches. He has 9 punch-outs and 1 walk. He's given up just 1 run. Detroit going into action today, tied with Minnesota for the AL Central lead. In fact, a percentage point ahead. Jim Thome yesterday not only caught but then passed Harmon Killebrew and into sole possession of 10th on the home run list. Numbers 573 and 574. Tampa Bay won that game late, 7 in the 8th. And today they have a 2-1 lead over the Twins in the 5th. A 1-2 on the way. A pop foul to the seats behind first. Ryan Ludwig on the DL with a strained left calf. That's a big loss for the Cardinals. He's leading the National League with runners in scoring position at 446. They have John Jay in right today. And again, they have a big lead, 6-1 over Milwaukee in the 5th. A little respite from the red-hot sun. Cloud cover now. And Marlon Byrd strikes out. Cubs strand a man at second. 3-2 Cincinnati after 5.
Long drought for Randy Wells, but yesterday against the Reds he was tremendous. Ended up going 7 2/3, gave up only 5 hits and 1 earned run. 6 innings of no-hit baseball as Cabrera lines one into center field to start the inning. Toyota and your local Toyota dealers, official partners of the Chicago Cubs.
Wells was really good. Command of all of his pitches. And they're going to need him if they're going to get back into this thing. His first win in 2 months. Janish a bunt single with Cabrera at first his last time up, and with that in mind, Fontenot playing in at third. Both Cabrera and Janish would score later on the triple by Ramon Hernandez. That has given the Reds the lead. Deep drive to left, and it's going to go. Paul Janish. How about that, Bob? He's only in the game because Joey Votto got kicked out, and he hits a 2-run homer. It's now 5-2.
If you're taking the place in the lineup of one of your best hitters, especially one of your best power hitters, you got to flex your muscles a little bit. It looked like a cut fastball up and out over the plate. Janish got the barrel of the bat on it, didn't hit it way out of here, but under the conditions got just enough of it.
4th career homer for Paul Janish. Over 400 plate appearances, so he is not a home run hitter. But he crushed it. Oh, 1 to Gomes, checked his swing, and ball ended up in the upper deck.
Well, then we'll have to check with Alan Trammell and Mike Quade after the ball game, but every time we look down at Mike Fontenot, he's standing very close to that third base line. That could be because of Ted Lilly on the mound using a lot of off-speed pitches. They figure to pull some that way.
Colvin back, and he's going to have room. Reaches out on the warning track to retire Gomes.
I mean, we talk about spray charts all the time and the Reds hitters and where do they put the ball in play when it's a fastball, when it's an off-speed pitch, and apparently they feel that defensively they're best suited to have Mike Fontenot playing close to that third baseline because he's been positioned just a step or two off the line all afternoon for these Reds right-handed hitters.
And I think Ramon Hernandez tweaked something, and as you mentioned, might have been a hammy, something. A cramp possibly on that 2-run triple, because he's out of the game. Corky Miller will hit for Hernandez and stay in and catch. There's a price to pay for catchers hitting triples.
That's why I didn't hit many.
Broken bat bouncer cut off by Fontenot, and he swings it across. That's exactly what we were talking about the other day.
That was the coolest shirt he had in his closet this morning.
Charlotte Hornets. Not a Bobcat. Not a New Orleans Hornets. The old school Charlotte Hornets NBA jersey at a Cubs-Reds game in Chicago. Jay Bruce with a single to right. You know what? He got on TV.
That's right.
Cliff Juiceley from New Lenox. Today's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. If the Cubs hit a home run in the next inning, Cliff Juiceley will win 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot. Wednesday's jackpot worth $54 million. America's team, the Charlotte Hornets.
We talked about Hernandez coming out. Miller inserted as a pinch hitter and will stay in the game behind the plate for the Reds. Sometimes that can be a little disconcerting for the starting pitcher out there. He's been working well with Hernandez through the early going, and now Corky Miller will be the guy hanging down the fingers for Mike Leake.
See a similar look tomorrow in Arizona. Kirk Gibson got a good stash working.
Gibby's bald up top, but he's got a big league mustache going.
Had a dose of reality last night. Diamondbacks with a huge blowout win on Friday. A club record 6 errors as they were trounced by the Dodgers 14-1. Thing is, when you're a new manager taking over a bad team, the players are still the same. Your job's to make them better than they were before. Not easy to do. High fly again, going to carry with his win. Bird gets it. Paul Janish, a 2-run homer, and the Reds now lead 5-2 in the 6th. It's trying to take 3 of 4 this weekend. They have a 5-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Tyler Colvin supplying the offense with a 2-run homer, and he gets this one up in the air. Stubbs back at the wall, leaping into the basket, home run. Tyler Colvin with 2 today, 5-3 now. And Bob, we have a winner. Cliff Juiceley from New Lenox. Today's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. Now gets 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot, which is worth $54 million on Wednesday.
Well, the scary thing is, Len, Tyler Colvin hit that ball off the end of the bat. He didn't even get all of it, but got enough to tuck it into that basket just to the left of straightaway center. Now only one behind Alfonso Soriano for the team lead.
First career 2-homer game for Colvin. Soriano hit 2 in a game earlier on the homestand against the Pirates. And the Cubs within 2. And Soriano hits it high and foul out of play. Miller in as a catcher after pinch hitting for Hernandez. Good effort by Drew Stubbs. And that ball that got into the basket. Tough to make a leaping catch here at Wrigley, as we mentioned the other day.
Hey fans, there's still time to get great seats, including bleachers for Cubs games this summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
One out, it's Fontenot, who is 1 for 2. Now a 6-game hitting streak for Mike. Missed a change-up.
You mentioned that attempt by Drew Stubbs, the Reds center fielder, as he got back to the vines there, reaching out with his right hand. Well, it looked like he wasn't really fully committed to making a leaping catch there. He was looking down at the ground as he made his jump, but no chance to make a play anyway.
Just hoping the ball would hit his mitt. Fontenot with 2 hits. And Soto will represent the tying run. More significant on a day like this, Bob, to represent the tying run at the plate. 4 home runs combined to this point.
It's been said many times, Len, about Wrigley Field under these conditions. Hot, steamy wind howling straight out to center field. When you step into batter's box, you're in scoring position.
How would you assess his first half, Bob? I'd say the last month and a half, Lou has not been shy about getting Coy Hill into action, but I've been encouraged by the patience Gio has shown. I think he's just still finding that consistency.
You know, I think, Len, he started out the season maybe a little impatient. Then he started to draw a boatload of walks and almost went too far the other direction. He wasn't swinging at good pitches, looking to draw the base on balls, but I think he's starting to find that happy medium. Recognize pitches, swing at the ones you can do damage with, and take the ones that you can't handle.
2-1. He has now walked 41 times. Only Derek Lee has walked more on the roster. It's Jeff Stevens as we get near the pitcher's spot. Outside, 3-1. Well, the bottom line is a team that has not reached base enough. Giovanni Soto with an on-base average of about 400. You like to see that. 3-2 now.
Very similar to the strike 3 call on Joey Votto. You'll see Corky Miller goes down below the knees to make the catch. He pulls it back up, but the ball was probably in the zone when across the front of the plate.
3-2 with Fontenot going, swing and a miss. The throw, nobody covering. And what do we have here? We have batter's interference on Soto. So even though nobody was covering at second, it's a double play. A strikeout. Soto's hurt, and he interfered with the Miller throw to second. And we'll sort it all out when we come back. Hopefully Gio's all right.
Hey. And I didn't know this, but if you're scoring at home, that's a strikeout on Soto, and the catcher, Corky Miller, giving a 2 unassisted put out on the runner going first to second. We've talked about that play repeatedly this year, and Corky Miller did exactly the right thing. Make contact and deliver the ball to second base. If you don't make contact or don't throw the baseball, the umpire does not have the option of calling out that guy at second base.
Reds are fortunate Miller didn't get hurt because he replaced Ramon Hernandez earlier. Not sure who their emergency catcher is. Right-hander Nick Massett getting loose in the Reds bullpen. Mike Leake is on deck. 5-3 Cincinnati here in the 7th. Ted Lilly with an 0-2 to Drew Stubbs. Lofted to right. This is Colvin. Cubs Destinations, a preferred baseball road trip provider of the team, provides fans with the most unique VIP road trip experience available. Each package includes great tickets, first-class hotel accommodations, a tour of the ballpark, and a private meet and greet with a current Cubs player. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Here is Mike Leake. This will be the last inning for Ted Lilly. He's due to lead off the bottom of the 7th, which will not happen with his team trailing. That's pitching coach Larry Rothschild looking on in his 9th year as the Cubs pitching coach. Big swing by Leake. He sees those flags blowing out, even though he's done a really nice job at the plate. He's not hit a home run, no RBIs in the majors. Colvin gets another chance. You're watching Cubs baseball on WGN, your official summer baseball station. We got the pool added to our podcast studios. And it will be utilized after the game today, believe us, when we tell you. Brandon Phillips doing what a good leadoff man does, giving his pitcher a little extra time. It's a live Statue of Liberty right there. And another one. They're all over the place.
Serves as a good sweatband on a day like this.
Brandon Phillips gone. 6-3. It's his 11th. Third homer for the Reds today. And Phillips celebrates his first career All-Star appearance with a home run today.
He got a pitch belt high over the plate where he could extend his arms, no question about it. Once again, he struck it well with the wind blowing out. It's just a question of how far back into the bleachers is it going to go.
Curveball in there, 0-2 to Cabrera. Reds have used extra base power today. Homer by Stubbs, 2-run triple. Ramon Hernandez, 2-run homer. Paul Janish, solo shot. Brandon Phillips hooked into the left field corner. And Cabrera will have an easy double. That's his 3rd consecutive hit.
You know, Lou and Larry would love for Ted Lilly to get the last out here in the top half of the 7th. As you mentioned a moment ago, Len, Ted is scheduled to lead off in the bottom half of the inning. If you went to get him right now, you would have to do one of two things. Either bring in a reliever just to get the last out and then pinch hit for him, or bring in a reliever along with a position player and make a double switch. We'd much prefer for Ted to get this last out.
Today representing the 12th time in Ted's career that he has allowed 3 or more homers in a game. Second time this year. A game in Detroit and now a final. Mariners 8, Tigers 1. Cliff Lee went 8 today, did not complete it, but still got his 8th win. 8-1 Seattle. Runner takes off for third as Janish will pop it foul. Cabrera could have walked to third.
That's something we've seen over Ted Lilly's time here with the Cubs. Teams have a hard time getting a jump against him at first base, but they don't hesitate to try to steal third. It takes a long time to unwind before delivering that ball to home plate. Giovanni Soto is going to have no chance on that play.
And a base hit into center. They're going to send him. Bird up with it. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. And it's 7-3. 3 straight hits. Janish 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs since he came into the game.
Very controlled swing this time from Janish on the breaking ball. Just wanted to make contact to the big part of the field, and he does so to Marlon Byrd in center. Right on line to home plate, but just too much speed from Cabrera. He got there before the baseball.
Most earned runs allowed by Lilly all season, 7. Inside corner and a strike to Gomes. The Mesmers will handle the 7th inning stretch coming up. 0-2. My gut feeling today, Bob, was Johnny Gomes was either going to have a career day or it was going to be a long one. Nothing in between.
Or need a chiropractor after the ball game, swinging so hard trying to get a ball up into the air.
Well, he's hit 3 fly balls, all for outs. Really trying to put him away to get out of this 7th. First he'll toss over and a balk called, allowing Janish to go to second. Second balk of the year for Lilly.
Now that definitely a balk there. Ted Lilly's right foot crossed way over the rubber behind his left foot and then delivered the ball to first base. Once that front foot crosses the rubber, you're required to throw the pitch home.
Down the left field line. Fair. 2-run homer. Line shot homer for Gomes, who's trying to get the ball up in the air. He hit one low and has himself a home run. 9-3. that's it for Ted. So the Reds have opened up a 6-run lead. Jeff Stevens will come in for Ted Lilly when we come back.
Inside the foul pole. Find out more of what's possible at AT&T.com. AT&T, rethink possible.
Jeff Stevens in to face Corky Miller. The 9 runs allowed by Ted Lilly, the most he's ever allowed here at Wrigley Field. Gave up 11 hits, 4 were home runs. So Johnny Gomes just tucked it inside the foul pole. Corky Miller with their 5th homer of the day. Hello, Waveland. And remember, the Reds have done it today without Joey Votto and Scott Rowland, their 2 best hitters. 10-3.
Jeez. How much I know about the game. I thought we'd see the Reds trying to steal some bases and play hit and run today, but instead they're playing home run derby, a cement mixer slider that stayed on the inner third of the plate for Corky Miller. Even with limited playing time, he knows where that one is headed.
First of the year. I think Mike Leake is done. And now with a 7-run lead. Swing and a miss. Bruce in an 0-2 hole. Massett still throwing in the bullpen.
It's hard to believe we had 2 outs and nobody on base in this inning before the floodgates opened up.
Before the run scoring started. 3 homers since. Stevens with a 2-2. It's inside, and he's run it full. 3-2 the count. Jeff Stevens, drafted by the Reds in the 6th round in the 05 amateur draft. Ball 4.
Jeff Stevens understandably having a little problem with the grip out there on the mound, sweating profusely while trying to find a dry spot on his uniform to wipe his throwing hand before every pitch.
Cairo swings and misses. Pirates trying to make it 3 out of 4 against the Phillies this weekend in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates lead 8-5 in the top of the 9th.
With the Reds holding a 7-run lead here in the 7th inning, Len, I think Derek Lee could probably swing around behind the runner down there at first base. I doubt very much if the Reds would continue to try to steal bases. And Miguel Cairo, the hitter at the plate, is a guy who has always been known as an opposite field hitter throughout his career. Will probably try to take a shot to that hole on the right side.
It's funny how momentum works offensively in this game. The Reds all of a sudden are like piranhas. They're going up there just hacking away.
Just thinking the same thing myself, Len. The Reds in this inning and throughout this series have made scoring runs look so easy. And lately for the Cubs, it has been so hard. Grinding out at bats, trying to get runners on base, trying to come through when you do get runners on base. And for the Reds, guys are just running up there from the on-deck circle, hacking away at everything they see close to the strike zone, and more often than not, they're making solid contact and occasionally hitting the ball up into the seats.
Bruce goes on the 3-2 and another walk. A reminder coming up tonight at 8:30. It's the 2010 Chicago Summer Blast, hosted by Paul Conrad, Eric Ferguson of WTMX. Lourdes Duarte, Marcus Leshock will be on hand. Live coverage of the new fireworks show from 3 Chicago locations: Navy Pier, Montrose Beach, and 63rd Street Beach. Great night of fun on WGN. Now the 10th batter of this inning. Drew Stubbs started the inning with a fly out to right. And Bruce will take third on a wild pitch.
Jeff Stevens needs to find it and find it quickly. He may notice if he takes a peek over his right shoulder, there's nobody else warming up in that Cubs bullpen. I don't believe Lou wants to expend any more relief pitchers in what appears to be a losing effort here today. And find that zone.
Well, this has been a very rough inning for the Cubs. Opponents have basically doubled their run output in the 7th. 3 balls, no strikes. Three and one. Is that Geddy Lee?
Looks like it.
I think it is from Rush. 3-2. Big baseball fan. Runner goes. High fly ball. Marlon Byrd tracking. This one's going to go. Drew Stubbs with a 3-run homer. Unbelievable. 13-3. That's his second homer of the day. 6 now for the Reds.
Certainly you don't have to try to pull the ball today to get it out of Wrigley Field. Just make solid contact, and that's what Stubbs does on a fastball outer third of the plate. Just cast it high in the air out there toward right center field. It got up into the jet stream and carried well out of here.
And I think a strange circumstance. I think Dusty knew he was going to take out Mike Leake about 8 batters ago, but he's going to get 2 at-bats this inning. And Bob Howery has gotten up in the bullpen, something the Cubs did not want to do. They didn't want to take Lilly out. The Reds have hung an 8 spot here in the 7th. They scored 9 in the 7th on Friday. Two and 2 on Leak. Stubbs with his first career multi-homer game. Ball 4.
Where's that? I mean, I know Jeff Stevens is struggling to find the zone out there, but that's a strike. We've seen some pitches down below the kneecaps called strikes today. That one is on the plate. Similar to the pitch we saw called on Joey Votto. All of a sudden, the strike zone is closed for Angel Campos.
This is incredible. An 8-run 7th after the 2 batters to start the inning made outs. We could have gone to second, but calling off the dogs here with a 10-run lead.
Now, they may be calling off the dogs on the base pass, but I guarantee you the guy standing at the plate with the bat in his hand is looking to satellite another one right here.
9 straight Reds have reached. 4 have hit home runs. Base hit to right. Leak's going to stop at second. And Lou's going to ask for Bob Howery. Doesn't really have a choice. Jeff Stevens could not get an out. So the Reds with 8 here in the 7th, and they're not done yet. They'll be back. So Bob Howery trying to get that elusive 3rd out. 2 on. Orlando Cabrera takes a slider low and away. Ten consecutive batters have reached. A homer, a double, single, homer, homer, walk, walk, home run, walk, single. All after 2 are out. Two and 1. A lot of runs. Marlon Byrd makes a catch. Finally, it's over. The Mesmers with the stretch. Shot by the Mesmers. They had to wait about a half hour. Boy, the top of the 7th has been a rough one over the last couple of days. And Kosuke will hit for Bob Howery, who mercifully got the Cubs out of the 7th. Nick Massa takes over for Mike Leake, and Kosuke skies one to left. This will be playable for Johnny Gomes.
Big-time strikeout pitcher is Nick Massett. He's been struggling a little bit lately. Dusty taking the opportunity here in a 10-run ball game to try to get his right-handed setup guy right.
James Russell will get the 8th. Tyler Colvin has supplied all the runs in this one, as he did on Thursday when the Cubs lost 3-2 in 10. It's been the lone bright spot today as the Reds beating up on the Cubs by 10. Terrio fouled that one off his foot.
Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes.
Massett's 2-2 to Terrio in the dirt, and a full count. Chopped to third, Janish. Maybe has been the Reds' MVP today. He came in to play third in the first inning as Joey Votto was ejected after taking a called third strike. Janish 3 for 3 with a homer, 3 RBIs, 3 runs. Meekly go down in the 7th. 1-2-3. 13-3 Cincinnati after 7. Home runs today. 8 of them, unfortunately for the Cubs, 6 by the Reds. Stubbs and Colvin with their first career multi-homer games. 13-3 Cincinnati in the 8th. Visit your Honda dealer. Test drive a 2010 Honda CR-V. Rookie lefty James Russell, he's from Cincinnati. Will pitch here in the 8th. He was born in Cincinnati, went to high school in Colleyville, Texas. His dad, Jeff, former closer, started his career with the Reds. And he faces Paul Janish. 1 ball, no strikes. Any of this crowd of 41,079 is headed for the exits here with the home team down big.
Well, and that bottom half of the 7th inning illustrates one of the differences in the game today as opposed to years gone by, and I mean years ago. And when you found yourself trailing by 10 runs in a ball game, you were expected to take until you got a strike because the need is for base runners.
That drops fair.
I mean, Kosuke Fukudome as a pinch hitter swung at the first pitch, flied out to left field. Terrio with a longer at bat before he was retired on the ground ball to third, and then Castro swung at the first pitch he saw. Even if Fukudome and Castro hit solo home runs, you're still trailing by 8 runs in the ball game. You need a boatload of base runners.
Janish 4 for 4. And that is a career high 4 hits for Janish. Gomes 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Line shot to left in a 7.
You know, Len, I think what we see happen in games like this, lopsided ball games, and for the team that's leading and the team that's trailing, it breaks down into an individual thing. I'm going to get mine. The Reds are feasting on Cubs pitching today. I mentioned earlier they're running up there out of that on-deck circle to take their at-bats, and the Cubs trailing by 10. They figure they're going to try to fatten their stats a little bit if they can. If that first pitch is in the strike zone, they're not going to hesitate to swing at it.
The most disturbing part of this today, and I think you could look at the whole season this way. We said early in the year, soft schedule. Cubs need to pile up wins. Couldn't do it. And the wind blew in almost every day. Kept saying, well, wait till the wind blows out. This is a power hitting team. Wind blows out today and they're down 10. Logan Andrusik, a right-hander, up for the Reds.
We did document coming into this series that the Reds are one of the best offensive teams in the National League in a number of categories, so not really a surprise that they're putting runs on the board at the pace they have been, but the ball's lofted to Tyler Colvin in center field. Should be no problem. And looking at this homestand, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds have outscored the Cubs 34-12 so far in this homestand.
The wind trends, they're logged as what the wind is when the first pitch is delivered, and we've seen it shift a fair amount during games. The Cubs actually 2 games over when the wind is blowing in at game time. 3 and 4 with it blowing out here. 1 and 4 with a crosswind. Bottom line is they've just been way too inconsistent at home. This is a place where the Cubs dominated 2 years ago. Called strike. 0-2 on Corky Miller. His first homer of the year came back in the 7th. I'll tell you, Dusty might have been tempted to use Scott Rowland at some point today, especially with Joey Votto getting kicked out early. But he has not had to use him as Miller strikes out, nor will he. Strike on Jay Bruce. Janish could take second whenever he wants. But again, the Reds up 10 are not going to rub it in. Derek Lee playing behind him at first. Caught the outside corner. 1-2. Ted Lilly gave up 9 6 2/3. Jeff Stevens did not record an out. He was charged with 4 runs. Swing and a miss. Russell with a scoreless 8th. Bottom 8, 13-3 Cincinnati. The Reds double switch here. Rookie righty Logan Andrusik will do the pitching. Bottom 8, 13-3 Reds. '23rd appearance for Andrusik. And first pitch strike to Derek Lee. Got it on this date for you here, Bob, after this 0-1. About 1,000 people in the crowd of 10,000 watching the Cubs. I don't even think they were the Cubs yet. Battle Philadelphia at the West Side grounds. Fired pistols in the air in celebration as the Cubs beat Philadelphia in 12, 5-4. That was in 1900, July 4th, 1900. So they were celebrating 4th of July by firing guns into the air. Can't do that anymore.
Very lax security at the gates that day. 1,000 people got in with handguns. I'm assuming they're handguns. Maybe they were firing rifles in the air for all we know.
Hard to tell. 1900, they may have been passing out free bullets. Who knows?
Buy a ticket, get a bullet.
Phillips knocks it down and throws out Derek. The Cubs played at the West Side grounds from 1893 to 1915 before they moved into Wrigley.
You see Phillips positioned perfectly, slightly up the middle of the field for Derek Lee. Able to knock that down. That ball was hit so hard he still had plenty of time to get Derek at first.
Low to Marlon Byrd. July 4th, 1932, Yankee catcher Bill Dickey was suspended by the American League for 30 days and fined $1,000 for punching out Carl Reynolds of the Senators after a home plate collision. And a $1,000 fine back in 1932 was pretty significant.
Oh, that was really significant. Even more so, you lose your starting catcher for 30 days. One punch knockout.
I think the one game I think of when we get to Independence Day was Dave Righetti with a no-hitter 1983 against the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. I think Lou was in the lineup for the Yankees that day.
'82 on this date, the largest crowd to ever see a minor league baseball game. You have to keep in mind it was Mile High Stadium in Denver, so they had plenty of room. 65,666 fans came to watch a minor league ball game and the post-game fireworks show.
Bird strikes out. Another happy birthday wish, happy 100th to longtime Cub fan Helen Peterson from Moline, Illinois. It's George Steinbrenner's birthday today. George is 80 today. And I guess he was not able to attend his birthday celebration at Yankee Stadium.
But he fired 3 parking lot attendants just to celebrate.
That's right. Yankees have won 7 world titles under his ownership. That's high to Colvin. First career 2-homer game for Tyler. Pounded on the ground and into the Reds dugout, foul. Well, the Reds, with this series starting, a big 11-game trip, which will take them into the break. And they'll get the Mets and then the Phillies after this. So far, so good. They're poised to make it 3 out of 4 to begin the trip. Happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
Called strike 3. And we'll go to the 9th. All Reds. 13-3 Cincinnati. We get into the 9th. And right-hander Andrew Cashner will pitch for the home team.
Andrew looking to right the ship a little bit. He's recorded losses in his last 3 outings. One of those was the 100-mile-an-hour home run pitch he delivered to Paul Konerko last weekend over on the south side. Pitching more in tough luck than anything else. He did walk a couple of batters against the Pirates on his appearance on the 28th, but other than that, he's been throwing strikes, and unfortunately some of those strikes have been put in play and found holes.
Miguel Cairo, 2-hopper to Starlin Castro. You know, Bob, one of the residual effects from the Zambrano blow up and resulting suspension and placement on the restricted list is the Cubs had a long man, Tom Gorzolani. He was put back into the rotation and has pitched well, but you take him out, you have no off days before the All-Star break, and it has affected the way Lou has used his bullpen. And while we sat here and thought maybe from some sort of motivational or chemistry standpoint, maybe the resulting response would be a little boost for this team. They had a team meeting the day after as Drew Stubbs has hit 3 today. 14-3. Seven homers for the Reds.
And you're right about the way Lou has been forced to handle his pitching staff. We've seen the starters go a lot deeper into the ball game than they probably normally would. It's a slider that never slid. Stayed right there in the middle of the plate for Drew Stubbs. And today, at least, he knows what to do with mistake pitches over the heart of the plate.
And again, I don't want to belabor it. I think everyone's trying to move on, but I just would say that I'm trying to find a silver lining to all of that mess. I don't think there is one. I don't think it really helped this team at all. It certainly didn't help Zambrano. And hopefully he will get help as he undergoes treatment before he returns to the team. But it has not resulted in really much of a change on the field. In fact, I think it's made it more difficult. Three and 1. 99 on that pitch. Chris Heisey gets his first at bat. Cashner able to knock it down, and he gets Heisey for the second out.
Well, and the bigger problem, Len, continues to be the lack of offense, the lack of any kind of continuity in the offense, stringing together base hits and walks and taking advantage of opposing errors and having it all lead to runs on the board. It just has not been there for the better part of this season and continues to be so today. Tyler Colvin doing all the damage today for the Cubs. A solo home run in the 6th, a 2-run homer in the 3rd. That's been it.
Bird with a long run, a diving catch. Marlon Bird still playing hard, even in a blowout. That will be the 3rd out. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. A rare smile from a Cub on this rough afternoon. 14-3. Paul Janish home run again. Many. But a 2-run homer from a guy who wasn't even in their lineup. One of his 4 hits today, a career high. Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp finish. It's what we do. Micah Owings finishing up. The 1-0 to Soriano is a strike. Foul pop out of play. A couple of other notes here. Jennifer Stroll wants to wish her husband Mike a happy 12th anniversary. I assume they're together today. Probably be for the best. She sent a note to us to tell him happy anniversary. Hopefully she told him in person. Happy 12th birthday to Taylor Nagel, Cub fan from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Happy 25th to Erica Stutt. She'll turn 25 tomorrow. We also want to recognize Gary Pressey, fine organist here at Wrigley Field. Yesterday was his 1900th home game here at Wrigley. 2-2 on Soriano. There you can see the side of his head behind Paul Friedman, the public address announcer. Soriano strikes out. Bob, the Cubs have no base runners against the Reds bullpen. Mike Leake was really good, and then he turned it over to Massett, Andrusic, and now Owens. And Cubs have not had a base runner since.
You mentioned about the Reds beginning a tough road trip. They go from here to New York and then on to Philadelphia. And as far as Dusty Baker's concerned, this series worked out pretty well for him. He did not have to use Arthur Rhodes. He didn't have to use his closer, Coco Cordero. So his late inning relief pitchers are rested and ready to go when they get to the Big Apple.
Cubs will head the other way to Arizona for 3 and then 4 at the Dodgers to finish up the first half. Cubs have played well against the NL West, 7-2. They'll drop to 15-25 against the Central. We have not yet seen the Padres or the Giants. 1-2. Two down.
That has to concern you a little bit with the offensive struggles of the Chicago Cubs. San Diego ranks number 1 in the National League in team pitching. The San Francisco Giants ranked 3rd. You know, you're going to get some good arms when you head out to the West Coast and face those two teams.
We'll see the Padres until a 4-game series here in mid-August. Cubs will also play 4 in San Diego, final week of the season. And we won't see the Giants until we go to San Francisco on August 9th for a 4-game. And the Cubs have only played the Cardinals 3 times. Another team that pitches well. Cardinals 2nd in the National League in ERA. 2-1 on Soto. If Gio gets on, Xavier Nady will hit in the pitcher spot. Pop up. Brandon Phillips backpedaling, makes the catch. The Reds take 3 of 4. The final today, Cincinnati 14, the Cubs 3. We'll be back in a moment.